Hey everyone, I had a question about covering Postgres databases using NextJS, so I'll show you in this video using the top three, Supabase, Neontech, and Vercel. So I'll leave time markers in this video down here if you want to skip right to it. But once again, all of my code is in my Patreon if you want to download it without any errors. So let's get right into this. All right, so the first one I want to go over is Neontech right here. See neon.tech. And what we need to do is set up our environment file. I have right here a .env.local. So you need to create that inside of the root folder, not inside of the app, but inside of the root here. I have an example file right here, and this is how it looks like. See, I copied all of Neontech's host, database, user, password, along with all of the Vercel and Supabase and everything I put in here for an example. But let me show you how to get this info right now. You need this Neontech one. And I named mine specifically like that, but when you see yours, it'll be named just like PG_host. But for this example, I'm naming mine this way so you can see which one I'm using. And I like signing in through GitHub. So if you go log in right here, create an account, it's all free. And you see right here, I created a project already, NextJS-database. So if you click on it, you can go to your connection details right here and get the connection string. So I recommend grabbing this string and putting it into the .env file. And also if you want to see your password, it's down here. Just click on that to show the password right here. But let's go to the connection string down here, and you can also select right here Next.js, and then go to the .env right here and grab all this info. But once again, click on show password so you can copy this part of it, and this is what you want to copy for the Neontech one. So yeah, that's what I have right here as an example. Also, the other string I wanted you to copy was the database string right here. So copy that one as well. Let's go to the app. I created a page for each one of these to show you how it works. So let's go to Neontech. And the first thing we're going to do is npm install Postgres, just like that. But I also installed PG for pool. Right here's my package.json. I have everything installed so that I can show you an example. Here's PG, here's Postgres. I have the Supabase, I have the Vercel one. I'll show you all these in a minute, but let's go to Postgres right now. So I'll do an import Postgres right there, and then right outside here I'm going to paste in my code right here. So this is what I'm doing right here. I'm doing a const SQL equals Postgres, and I'm plugging in the values: host, database, username, password. All of them have that, along with the port I put in here. The port is 5432, and all of them use that port. So you see right here, I'm grabbing it from the .env process.env.deon. And one more thing right here, SQL is required, but some other sites might also say true. You might see that as well. So be careful on this, because I was switching back and forth from other sites and I had this to be true and it didn't work, but it worked for the other ones. Make sure that you're copying their strings exactly. Let's set up our query string right here. Const get data equals async, and const rows equals await. And now I can just call SQL. And you can do single quotes or you can do these backticks like that, but I'm going to select everything from my users table because I already set up a users table inside of Neontech. I'll show you at the end of the video how you can add tables and add everything through scripts and all that, because I ran a couple of scripts to create my tables and insert data. But also this tutorial here, I'm going to show you how to create an admin where I insert data and everything too, so you'll learn that. And then const data equals await get data, and it's that easy. We got to make this an async, but yeah, it's that easy to query from this database here, and you query through it using SQL statements, and then now we can just map through it. Data.map row, and then I'll say row.name, and also a row.email, and I'll give this a key as well. It likes that for the map function. So yeah, that's how you connect to Neontech right here using this Postgres. And I'll show you how it runs right now. npm run dev. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking. I need to return this rows right here. So return rows, because we're getting the data. We need to return it. Save that. And there we go. Here's our data. And so yeah, it's easy as that to connect to it using this standard method right here. You see this in a lot of database connections, how they connect using the host, database, username, password. But let's connect now through using the string, the Postgres database string. And right here is my database string. And then you just pass in the whole database URL along with the SSL required right here. You see, it's a lot easier than putting all this host information because the database URL has all that, right? If we go back to our example file right here, it's all in here. So it puts the username here, password, it has the host, it has what database, it has the SSL mode. So I feel like it's a lot easier if you can use the string here to connect, and it does the same exact thing. So I save that, and then we'll just refresh here, and you see it just grabs the same data. So it works. Now I want to talk about something right here. You see how we're doing SQL statements this way, and it returns the rows immediately. It returns this data. And I want to show you two different methods, because the next one we're going to do is we're going to use the PG, which uses pools. And I think that one's a little bit better. So let me show you that one. So let me remove this connection right here. And now we're going to do the pools. Import pool. And I'm going to import it from the PG right here. And now I'm going to say let database, right? I'm going to initialize that first. And I'm going to say if there's no database connection, then we'll set it up. DB now equals to new pool. And once again, I'm going to use the connection string right there and process.env.neon database URL. And that's all you got to do. So let's go down here into the neon function right here. And we need to set up the connection, right? Const client equals await db.connect. I'm setting up a client to be connected now. Now I can use this client inside of here. So let me rewrite this here. And when we run the client, it's going to return a rows for us. So I'm using destruction right here. Equals await client.query. Now we just run our SQL query, select, same thing, star from users. Let's save that and refresh this. And you see the data comes out the same. But let me show you this as well. When we're running this client.query, it returns quite a bit of information for us. It returns a rows, but it also returns a row count. And that's what I like right here. So I'm going to remove this. I'm not going to have it return the rows right away. I'm going to call this response so that I can take in everything from here, all the objects. And now I can say if response.row count is greater than 0, then return the response.rows. So you see how I'm doing this? If there's nothing, it's going to return this as 0 for my row count. But if there's more than 1, then I want it to return this rows. Otherwise, have it return null or something. So I can remove this here. And once again, I forgot to do a return on this here. There we go. So now if I save this, it should just do the same thing, because it's just returning that response.rows right here. And there you go. So yeah, there you go. Two different methods. And like I said, I think I like this pool query more because it gives me this row count and it gives me the rows. And it returns a lot more information than that. So let me show you right here as an example. This is the object it returns. It'll say command select, and it'll return the row count right here. And it has all this other information. It has the rows and a lot more info. Whereas when we were running the other SQL query, this is what it looked like right here when it returned it. It just returned the whole object with just, that info, and that's it. So yeah, that's how you connect using Neon Tech right here, using Postgres and Pool if you want to use the PG library right here. So now let me jump into Vercel and talk a little bit about that. Okay, let's talk about Vercel right here, the Vercel database. And here's the funny thing, Vercel just uses Neon Tech. They uses their database. So let me show you the env file right here again. So if you look at my database string here for Vercel, if you scroll over here, look at this, it's Neon Tech. They're just using the same database. Same thing up here, Vercel. It's just using Neon Tech. Here's the cool thing about Vercel. They create their own database package so that you can connect to easily. And all you got to do is log into Vercel and grab this part right here. Grab all of their host, username, password. Just grab it and put it into your .env file. And it knows to grab that. Here's my Vercel page that I'm going to use as an example. And here is the npm package for Vercel. They created their own Vercel/Postgres. So remember, it's the same thing, npm install at Vercel/Postgres, like that. They created this library where they give you the SQL already, and then you can just call it right here, same exact thing as our Neon Tech example that we just had. Look, I'm taking out the rows from it, and I'm just awaiting and selecting. And then I just map through it, and it's that easy. And you see how I don't have to set up the connection string and everything, because their package here, it knows to look into this .env file for these settings right here. As long as you cut and paste exactly what they give you on Vercel website, it's going to know how to connect to it, and then you just run your queries. So save that, npm run dev, and if we go here to Vercel, and it should just query me, see Vercel, the same exact info right here. So let me show you right here. We'll go back to Vercel website right here. I'll log in using my GitHub again, same exact thing. And here is my dashboard database that I set up. And you can go up here to storage. That's where your database is going to be. And then I can click on my database right here, and it gives me all of the info right here. You see, here's my connection string, same thing, Postgres SQL database string. And it has all these options up here. If I want the PG version of it, it shows you how to do that. Here's my environment file right here. See, like I said, copy all this and just put it into the .env file right here. And it knows to pick it up when you're doing your connection. It's that simple. But remember, show the secret, show all that stuff right here, and then copy it. There you go. That's how you connect to Vercel, because it just uses NeonTech and it does the exact same thing. But if you don't want to use their package, you can use the Postgres, import Postgres, just like how I showed on the NeonTech. And I think that's all I wanted to show you about Vercel, because it's just like NeonTech. The main one I want to show you is Supabase, because this is a very popular database that a lot of people use. And I'll show you that right now by setting up a dashboard. That's right, I'm going to do a whole dashboard right here. All right, let's talk about Supabase database right here. I created a dashboard on my site here, and you'll see from this dashboard that I inputted a couple of tables that has my YouTube, videos right here. My top videos, I grabbed the top 5. I grabbed data on how many views it got every month, created this graph. So all these are tables, and I want to show you this because I want to show you how I developed it using Supabase. But let's log in right here. I'm going to log in through GitHub again. And same exact thing right here. I created a database table called dashboard. Let's go to that. And if you want to connect using Supabase, just go up here to connect, and you'll see your connection strings right here. Now Supabase, if you're a beginner, you're gonna run into this part right here. It's like, where's my password? They don't have a little eye icon where it's like review the passwords and all this. So I'll show you where to find that. But it does give you all these different connections right here, right? But I like using the Postgres SQL database string right here. Let's close this right here. We're going to go to the left side. Right here, I love how they give you the table editor, SQL editor. I'll show you my tables right now. You see this? I have all these tables here. Users, I put a couple of users in there. I put my videos, some views, top videos, and I just connect them together. But here we go. We're going to go down here to project settings. And then after project settings, you want to go over here to API. Inside of API, you're going to see this anon public right here, the API key, and then also a service role secret key. And these are the 2 keys. I was very confused at first which one to use, but they are these keys right here. Let me show you inside of my example.env. So you'll notice that Supabase takes in a URL, anonymous key, and a service key. This is like the admin type key where you can do everything to the database table, create tables, delete, insert, and all that. But the anonymous key only allows you to read. And so that's what these are right here. This is the anonymous key, and this is the service role key where it's the admin key. So you want to save those into your .env file. And here's the database URL right here, the project URL. And you notice here how I have to navigate all the way in here to find it, So let's go back to home here. So you remember how I said to connect using the Postgres database string right here, and it's missing the password. So to find that, you want to go here. It's kind of hidden, and this is what I didn't like about it. You got to go all the way down here to project settings, right? And then you got to go to database. And yeah, it's so hidden. So right here, it shows you the host, database, port, user, password. I didn't remember creating a password. So if you forgot, you just click reset password and it'll give you a new one. Copy that, put into your string. So yeah, that's the database part right there. And let's go back into our project here. And I want to show you my dashboard now. This is how I set it up. If you want this full code, I'll include it in my Patreon, but what I'll show you right now is how I set it up. If you remember right here, so for an example, I'll go to users right here, where it pulls in all of the users I have inside the database, and it allows me to add a user using a form, or I can delete them using this button. So that is my users table I'm going to show you right here. It is the users page. And I created 2 separate components right here. I have the form, then I have the data table. So right here, form, data table. Okay, I create that as components. So here's the data table. I'm calling a function in here called getUsers, and I have a remove button component as well. And you see I'm laying this out in a table, and I'm just going through the data as I query it. So where's the data coming from here? See, I'm doing a user data and I'm getting users, just like our previous example where I'm getting get data. So let's go to this get users, and it's from the actions right here. Let's go to actions. So in this file, it's a use server file, because to access our env private keys and all this, this has to be a server file. Everything we call has to be on the server. You notice that when I ran my previous examples for like Neon Tech and stuff, this is running on the server. That's why I'm able to connect to this. But if I were to do up here where I put use client, this would not work. It cannot grab this because now it's on the client side. All of the .env keys and everything inside of there, to access this has to be on the server. Unless you go into here, if you want to access one of the strings here, you put next_public. But I don't recommend this. This now makes this string available to the client side. So now when I do this use client, I can call this as next_public. And it'll share this on the client side, but you do not want to do that. It's very risky. It keeps it open. It keeps your key open. So I recommend doing this method where you don't have to do this. Don't save. Don't have to do that. And you create a file where you can run all your actions on the server, just like this. And then now this is only pulling from the server side. And so it's not exposing your keys. You see I have all these functions in here, get user. And you see this, like it's just doing a Supabase is grabbing it. I'll show you the syntax on this in a minute, because Supabase also gives you their own library with syntax, but you can also do the Postgres SQL and you can return the same data information. So you see I have remove user, I have the form right here. So this is for displaying my users right here. You see it's very simple. I'm doing a select statement, returning it, and then back in here, I'm getting that and I'm going through it. Now let me show you the form side of it. So let's go to the form, right? I have in here add user form as a component. So I created this right here. So let's go to the add user form inside the component. And by the way, when you're creating components in NextJS, you have to put it inside of the components folder. And this is inside of the root here, you see, in components, because you'll also run into this. If you go down to tailwind config.js right here, you see how it has this content and it's including the components page here so that it can read it. So if you plan on having another folder where you're putting components that's not inside of this, I suggest you add it to this. Just copy this, create a new one, and put it into there. So inside of components here, I have my own dashboard folder, and then I have add user form right here. So you see right here, the add user form, this has to run on the client. I'm using a use form state. And you know, with Next.js, anytime you're doing a use state, it has to be a client. So you have to have use client. I'm also running these other stuff. I covered this in my form submit tutorial video. And this is the form right here. Here's the action. And I'm passing the form data. Here's the form field name, email, submit. Here's the pending part. But the most important part right here is this is a client file. And then I'm submitting this data. It's submitting using this form submit in the actions. I noticed this with a lot of developers. When you're doing testing, you don't want to create all these components, so you're putting all of your actions in here. And that's where it doesn't work, because you're using a use client. So imagine if I went here, if I took all these actions right here. So I used to do this, I copy this, and I would have a, like a const get data equals, a little function here. And I put all this inside so that I can just run this database quickly, get the data to test. And a lot of people do that. But like I said, you can't use this use client here, because let's say you're connecting through Supabase and you want to use this inside a client, it doesn't work. That's why I suggest putting all this inside of a server file where you can run your actions. This is how I have mine. And yeah, I just want to cover that because a lot of people run into that issue. And then I'll show you right here, I'll add a new user, Robbie, right? You notice that I'm using all names from the show Cobra Kai, because that's what I'm basing my channel off of. Robbie, I add him in, submit it. And you see how when I submitted, it refreshed this page. If you go down here to my actions, I also ran this revalidate path, and I'm telling it to go to the dashboard users URL and refresh that page. So that's how you have it to show here. If I didn't do a revalidate, it wouldn't show this right away until I clear the cache, because NextJS uses a lot of caching. So that's how you do that. And right here, that's where I'm including the revalidate path in Next.js. So yeah, just a couple of tips on there on how to create forms and submit data using Postgres databases. Right here, if I want to delete this, same thing, click on that, deletes it. You see, I didn't have to refresh and do all this stuff. This one here, let's just go back to the dashboard. And it's the same idea as the users table.
I have this inside of my dashboard right up here, app dashboard. It's inside of, here's my layout where I have a side nav. This is the side navigation right here. And then it just takes in the children for the layout. And what's the children? Well, it's this page right here of the dashboard. And the children, I have it load. And these are the cards right here that I created for this part up here. These are cards. And it's really just querying the database for the totals. I'm passing through parameter to get that. Here's my card. And then, yeah, I just break these up into components. Video views, top videos, and they're right here. Video views, top videos, right here. And these are just separate pages that do the same thing as the user's page, right? These are just components in there, but it's running the actions on the server to get this data. So yeah, back into my actions file right here, I'll show you that Supabase also created their own library right here, just like Vercel, so that you can connect to it easily. They created this create client. And same thing you do in npm install, at supabase/supabase-js. So it's just like that to install it. And you can go through their documentation. They have a lot of like select, and you do equals in here too, like that. They have like delete, they have insert, all this stuff. And I felt like they made it pretty simple. Or if you want to do the SQL method, it works too. Just connect to Postgres and you just call SQL. That is Supabase, how you use it. I felt like their documentation on this is very easy. And I do like the database.
And that's going to do it for this video, everyone. If you want to download my code, once again, it's in my Patreon without any errors. Everything is in there. All of my past tutorials, all the codes are in there. If you want to download that easily without any problems, go and support this channel and leave a comment down below for the next one you want to see. I'll see you in the next video. Code account.